Hey there, amazing friends. I warmly invite you to join me on this exciting journey by subscribing to my channel, liking, commenting, and sharing my videos. Every like, comment, and share brings us closer together and fuels my passion to create more great content. Your support truly makes all the difference. Thank you for being the heart of this community. When the spotlight fades, how Hollywood's biggest names face their darkest demons in private. In the dazzling, relentless glare of Hollywood's limelight, public personas are carefully sculpted, polished to near perfection for the adoring gaze of millions. On red carpets and in award shows, the stars beam with confidence and charm, their smiles radiant against a backdrop of glitter and glamour. Yet behind the veneer of success and adulation, many of these luminaries carry secrets so heavy, so painful, that they have long hidden their true selves from the world. In dimly lit dressing rooms, behind closed doors, in sprawling mansions, and in the quiet solitude of midnight hotel rooms far from the flashbulbs and applause, some of Hollywood's biggest names have wrestled with demons that no amount of cinematic magic could erase. This is the untold story of how, when the spotlight fades, the facade crumbles, revealing private battles with inner darkness, personal tragedy, and the relentless pressures of a life lived in perpetual performance. For decades, Hollywood has been the dream factory of modern culture, a place where ambition, talent, and the promise of stardom combine to create legends. Yet the same industry that transforms ordinary people into icons also demands a toll, exacting a price in isolation, self-doubt, and sometimes downright despair. Behind every shimmering poster and every triumphant headline lies an often hidden chapter of loneliness and internal conflict. A star's journey may begin with passion and promise, but along the way, the constant scrutiny, the relentless expectation to be perfect, and the fear of failure can morph into an all-consuming burden. For many celebrities, the bright lights on stage become a harsh spotlight in their private lives, forcing them to confront insecurities and traumas that no one else is allowed to see. Take, for instance, the story of a once beloved leading man who, in the public eye, exuded rugged charm and unyielding confidence. To his millions of fans, he was the epitome of success, a man whose every role on screen was imbued with an effortless magnetism. Yet, in the solitude of his penthouse apartment, far removed from the applause and adoration, he battled crippling depression and a paralyzing fear of losing his identity. His smile, so carefully curated in interviews and public appearances, was nothing more than a mask he wore to hide the anguish that gnawed at him when the cameras stopped rolling. Late at night, he would sit by a window overlooking a city of neon lights and whisper into the darkness about the emptiness he felt inside. Friends later revealed that he had been haunted by memories of a troubled childhood, abandonment, betrayal, and a relentless pressure to conform to an ideal that was never truly his own. In the silence of those private moments, the facade of Hollywood stardom dissolved, and all that remained was a man adrift in his own torment, questioning the very cost of fame. Similarly, one of the most dazzling actresses, whose luminous smile and effortless grace once captivated audiences worldwide, has spoken anonymously in hushed interviews about the scars that lie beneath her glamorous exterior. As a child, she had been thrust into the unforgiving spotlight of the entertainment industry, forced to perform before cameras long before she understood the concept of self. Over time, the constant pressure to maintain a pristine image, to be the picture of perfection, eroded her sense of individuality. In private, she confided that the mirror had become her worst enemy, each reflection a reminder of the expectations imposed upon her, and a distorted echo of the child she once was. In the quiet hours before dawn, she would weep softly into her silk pillowcases, haunted by visions of a fractured self that no amount of makeup or rehearsal could mend. For her, the stage was a place of both triumph and tragedy, a dual existence in which the public celebrated her success, while she silently endured the weight of a secret loneliness that no one could fathom. Then there are those whose private struggles took a darker turn. Some celebrities, overwhelmed by the ceaseless demand to be both flawless and endlessly entertaining, turn to substances as a means of escape. The corridors of Hollywood's elite became haunted by whispered rumors of parties that blurred the line between celebration and self-destruction. Behind closed doors, many of these stars found themselves ensnared in a cycle of addiction and regret. Publicly, they remained the epitome of glamour, their debauched lifestyles masked by a veneer of confidence and wit. Privately, however, they fought bitter battles with inner demons, paranoia, self-loathing, and the constant fear of being exposed as nothing more than fragile human beings. The tragic demise of one such icon, whose fall from grace was as swift as it was shocking, serves as a somber reminder that beneath the glitz of Hollywood, human vulnerability can be an unstoppable force. In the final days before his untimely death, he was reported to have spent hours in his private study, surrounded by stacks of handwritten letters and old photographs, grappling with memories of past failures and lost loves. His death, ruled as a suicide, sent shockwaves through an industry that often celebrates life without ever acknowledging the dark undercurrents that lie beneath. While these personal tragedies make up the somber tapestry of Hollywood's hidden history, they are but one facet of an industry steeped in secrets. Behind the glamorous red carpets and shimmering studio lights, the corridors of power in Hollywood often conceal a labyrinth of backroom deals, whispered betrayals, and clandestine rivalries. The very machinery of fame is built on alliances and rivalries that extend far beyond the on-screen performances we see. Executives and agents, whose decisions can elevate a struggling actor to superstardom or cast a once beloved performer into oblivion, operate in shadows where moral compromises are the currency of success. For some stars, the pressure to maintain these connections can lead to a descent into a world where every favor, every whispered promise, carries an unseen cost. In the dimly lit backrooms of exclusive after-parties, where laughter mingles with whispered threats and the clink of expensive glassware, many celebrities have found themselves entangled in webs of deceit and exploitation that leave them questioning who they truly are. Their darkest demons, often born of betrayal and the relentless demands of an industry that treats talent as disposable, have forced them into lives of isolation and despair, even as the world continues to worship their carefully crafted images. Yet the true horror of Hollywood's darkest secrets is not merely found in personal suffering or the ruthless nature of the business. It lies in the stark contrast between the public persona and the private reality. On screen, actors recite lines with effortless conviction, their performances a seamless blend of art and life. Off-screen, the same individuals may be tormented by anxiety, guilt, and unresolved trauma. The dichotomy is as old as the art of acting itself. Every performance is a transformation, a metamorphosis that allows one to escape the mundane, to become a hero, a villain, or a creature of pure imagination. But when the curtain falls and the applause fades, what remains is often a profound loneliness, a deep-seated fear that the person behind the character is unworthy of the love and adoration that the public so eagerly bestows. It is a tragic irony that the very art which elevates these individuals to near divine status can also be the source of their deepest self-doubt. Many have confessed that the greatest performance they ever gave was the one they had to stage for themselves each night in the mirror, a desperate bid to reconcile the fractured pieces of their identity with the expectations imposed by an unforgiving industry. For some, the darkness that festers behind closed doors is a legacy passed down from one generation to the next, a curse of sorts that haunts the corridors of fame. There are stories of dynasties where the burden of stardom is inherited like a family heirloom, a weight that grows heavier with each successive generation. These families, celebrated for their talent and charm, often hide a history of tragedy, early deaths, public scandals, and mysterious disappearances that are whispered about but rarely discussed openly. In one notorious case, a famous acting dynasty was said to be cursed by an ancient pact made long before the age of cinema. The eldest daughter of the family, whose beauty and grace had captivated audiences around the world, vanished without a trace on the night of her grand debut. The public was left with a heartbroken tribute and a series of unanswered questions. Over the years, subsequent generations bore the stigma of her disappearance, their lives marred by inexplicable misfortunes and the constant fear that they, too, were doomed to follow in her footsteps. This generational curse, whether the product of actual supernatural forces or simply a tragic pattern of human frailty, serves as a potent symbol of the dark side of fame, a reminder that the spotlight, while illuminating, can also expose the deepest wounds. In quieter moments, when the world is hushed and the relentless pace of public life slows to a whisper, some celebrities have found solace in art, literature, or spiritual pursuits as a means of grappling with their inner demons. A renowned director, known for blockbuster successes and glamorous premieres, once retreated to a secluded villa in the hills, spending months in isolation writing poetry and studying ancient philosophies. He later confessed in a private interview that his most profound moments of clarity had come in that isolation, away from the clamor of Hollywood. Similarly, a famous singer whose voice had once stirred millions to tears turned to meditation and yoga to confront the emptiness that fame had imposed upon her. Their stories, though rarely broadcast in their full emotional complexity, hint at a truth that is as old as art itself, that the journey to understanding oneself is often paved with loneliness and sacrifice. In the darkness behind the spotlight, where public adulation fades into quiet solitude, these artists have found that their true battles are fought within, against ghosts that no one else can see. Even the so-called good aspects of Hollywood, the glamour, the wealth, the adoration, can become instruments of torment. The pressure to live up to an ideal image can distort reality, leading many stars to become their own harshest critics. The very system that rewards perfection often punishes imperfection in the most merciless ways. A celebrated actress, whose luminous performances on screen had made her a household name, later admitted that she felt more vulnerable in private than any ordinary person. She recalled nights spent staring at her reflection, trying to reconcile the flawless image projected onto billboards with the insecurity that gnawed at her from within. The dissonance was so profound that it eventually led her to isolate herself from friends and even family, convinced that the public image was a lie that could never match the messy, complicated truth of her inner life. Her story, shared only in hushed, off-the-record conversations with close confidants, revealed a side of Hollywood that few ever see, a world where the glitz and glamour are but a thin veneer covering decades of pain, regret, and unfulfilled longing. In a similar vein, there are those who, despite outward success, find themselves trapped in cycles of self-destruction. Some celebrities, whose names once graced the covers of magazines and whose voices echoed in stadiums, have later become cautionary tales of excess and despair. Their downward spirals, often hidden from public view until the media frenzy erupts, are the result of battles with addiction, depression, and a profound disillusionment with a world that values appearance over authenticity. The struggle is not limited to the individual, but spills over into every aspect of their existence. Relationships crumble, creative genius fades, and the very essence of what once made them shine is slowly extinguished. For many of these individuals, the darkest demons are not the external critics or the invasive paparazzi, but the internal voices that whisper incessantly of failure and unworthiness. These are the demons that haunt them long after the applause has died away and the cameras have been turned off, a relentless chorus in the silence of night that drowns out any hope of redemption. Behind the scenes, the mechanisms of Hollywood itself contribute to this pervasive sense of isolation. The industry thrives on constant reinvention. Actors must transform their identities for every role, and public relations teams work tirelessly to craft a narrative that suits the moment. Yet, in this endless cycle of reinvention, the real self is often lost or obscured, buried beneath layers of performance and contrived charm. The contrast between the on-screen persona and the off-screen reality can be jarring. For those who succeed in captivating an audience, the very power of their image becomes a prison. They are celebrated for what they portray, but few ever glimpse the fragile human being behind the stardust. In private moments, away from the relentless gaze of cameras and the clamor of interviews, these individuals must confront their true selves, vulnerabilities, insecurities, and the remnants of a life that was shaped by both triumph and trauma. The spotlight, once a symbol of achievement, becomes a relentless reminder of the masks they wear, masks that can sometimes crack under the weight of unspoken sorrow. It is this collision of public adoration and private agony that has inspired some of Hollywood's most poignant art. In hushed interviews and autobiographies, several icons have described how the glittering veneer of fame eventually gave way to a desperate search for authenticity. They spoke of nights when the bright lights of movie premieres faded into a dull, oppressive darkness, leaving them to grapple with memories of lost love, childhood traumas, or the crushing burden of expectation. Their revelations, often shared only with close friends or in confidential interviews, have since become part of Hollywood's most guarded secrets. A revered director once confided that his most challenging film was not a work of fiction, but a raw documentary of his own inner despair, a film he never released, fearing that its honesty would shatter the illusion of invincibility that his audience expected. Similarly, a pop icon known for her electrifying stage presence later admitted that the cost of maintaining her public image was a constant battle with self-doubt and loneliness. These stories, while deeply personal, resonate with anyone who has ever felt the chasm between who they are and who the world believes them to be. The intersection of fame and personal demons has also given rise to a darker, more insidious undercurrent in Hollywood: the exploitation of vulnerability. Behind the polished veneer of glamorous film sets and opulent parties, there exist power structures that thrive on secrecy and manipulation. Agents, producers, and studio executives, driven by the relentless pursuit of profit, sometimes engage in coercive practices that leave stars feeling objectified and dehumanized. The cost of success can be exorbitant. Fame may grant wealth and recognition, but it also opens the door to exploitation, abuse, and the erosion of personal dignity. In private, many celebrities have recounted instances where they were pressured to compromise their values or submit to invasive scrutiny in exchange for roles or contracts. The fallout from such experiences often reverberates through their lives, contributing to cycles of substance abuse, isolation, and mental health struggles. In this hidden world, the dark demons that celebrities face are not just the ghosts of personal insecurities, but also the tangible consequences of an industry that demands relentless perfection. The very public nature of Hollywood means that these struggles are often witnessed by millions, even if only in snippets of interviews or tabloid headlines. Yet the details, the late-night breakdowns in private hotel rooms, the secret therapy sessions, the whispered confessions to trusted friends, remain locked away from the public eye. For those who manage to escape into anonymity after a career in the spotlight, the scars of fame often become invisible burdens. The desire to reclaim a sense of normalcy, to hide the pain behind closed doors, is a battle waged in silence. And while many find solace in creative expression or spiritual healing, others sink into cycles of despair that defy easy resolution. The legacy of those who have faced their darkest demons in the solitude of celebrity is a stark reminder that behind every glowing headshot and every red carpet smile lies a story of internal strife, a story that, if fully revealed, might shatter the carefully constructed myth of Hollywood glamour. As the decades pass and new stars rise to prominence, the cycle continues. Every generation of celebrities must navigate the treacherous waters of public adoration and private agony. The tools of social media, once heralded as a means of connection, often exacerbate the pressure to appear flawless, transforming every comment, every like, into a potential critique of the self. In a world where every moment is broadcast and every misstep is amplified, the private demons of fame become harder to hide. Many modern icons have turned to digital detoxes or retreats into nature to escape their relentless scrutiny, only to return with a renewed determination to shield their vulnerabilities from public view. Yet even then, the battle is never truly over. The internal dialogue, the quiet voices of self-doubt, and the echoes of past traumas continue to haunt them long after the spotlight has dimmed. In this labyrinth of contradiction, the true story of Hollywood's biggest names is not one of effortless success, but of hard-won resilience and the unyielding human spirit. For every star whose image graces movie posters and magazine covers, there is an untold narrative of struggle, a battle fought in the silent moments when the cameras are off and the applause has faded. The dark secrets of Hollywood, far from being mere scandalous gossip, are a reflection of the very human condition, the search for identity, the pain of imperfection, and the unrelenting quest for authenticity in a world that values illusion above all. The legacy of those who have faced their inner demons in private serves as both a cautionary tale and a source of quiet inspiration. Their stories remind us that the pursuit of greatness often comes at a cost measured not in dollars or accolades, but in the emotional toll that fame exacts on the soul. And while the world may celebrate the polished performances and radiant smiles, it is the hidden, unspoken battles that define the true character of a person. In that sense, the dark underbelly of Hollywood is not simply a repository of secrets to be exploited by tabloids. It is a mirror reflecting the complexities of human nature, the eternal conflict between public expectation and private reality. When the spotlight finally fades and the curtains close on the glitzy stages of Hollywood, the real stories emerge. They are stories of heartbreak and hope, of triumph over personal demons, and of the quiet courage it takes to live authentically in a world that demands perfection. These are the stories of individuals who, despite the dazzling allure of fame, were forced to confront the truth of who they were: flawed, vulnerable, and sometimes broken, but also capable of immense resilience. They remind us that even the brightest stars carry scars that can only be seen in the darkness, and that behind every public success lies a private struggle that is all too human. In the end, when the spotlight fades, how Hollywood's biggest names face their darkest demons in private is more than just a collection of scandalous revelations or a catalog of tragic mishaps. It is an exploration of the human spirit, the unyielding determination to persist, to create, and to find meaning amid the chaos of existence. It is a testament to the idea that while public images may be manufactured and perfected for the camera, the raw, unvarnished truth of a person's life is far more intricate and, at times, profoundly painful. And as we continue to celebrate the glamour of Hollywood, we must also remember the silent battles fought behind closed doors, the battles that, in their own quiet way, define what it truly means to be human.